Hey, yo, what's good, everybody, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Interviews. Today, I have my friend, the wonderful Rachel Monarrez in the building. Rachel, welcome so much. Should I call you? I got tripped up because I don't know. Should I call you Rachel or Miss Monarrez? I want to be respectful.
So either Rachel or Dr. Monarrez.
Dr. Monarrez. I like that. You've worked hard for that title. So we're going to go with Dr. Monarrez today.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
yes,
you.
absolutely. Dr.
Buenos
Monarrez.
dias.
Buenos dias. And welcome very much to Interviews. And
You.
since you started with Spanish, I'm going to let you know my Spanish is horrible. I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban, born here in Worcester. And I'm sure, well, you maybe can't relate, but I'm sure you met a lot of Hispanics, Latinos that just, their Spanish is terrible.
I wouldn't say terrible, but let's be clear. My Spanish is my second language. So,
Oh, wow.
So anyone who speaks Spanish, I'm good with because I butcher it in right and left too. So
Really?
I'm good. I'm good.
Honestly, I assumed that Spanish was your first language. See, I was wrong.
No,
You can't ever assume them.
No. When you make an assumption, you know what happens.
Yeah, you make a fool out of yourself. I'm good at that. I'm very good at
We
that.
all are.
But I think that's a human nature thing to do. You know,
It is.
we want to try to figure out things before we actually know. Because everybody wants to be the first one to the prize.
There you go.
You know, that's really what it's about. But welcome. I'm
Thank
so
you.
happy to have you here. I've been a big fan of yours ever since I heard that you got the job. I didn't care where you were from. I just knew we had a Latina coming to rescue our schools because, let's be real, Worcester Public Schools was a hot mess. You don't have to say that. I'm
not
saying
going
it.
to.
You don't have to say that. I know. So I do have children currently in Worcester Public Schools. I want to start by saying a huge shout out to all of the teachers and everyone that makes these schools run. It's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% not you. It's 100% society and systemic stuff. Thank you. I'm really trying not to go there with the language because we have to be respectful. You know, we don't swear in school, right? That's not one of the things we're allowed to do.
We're not supposed to.
We're not supposed to, yeah. But what do you think about that as far as the funding goes? Do you feel like the teachers could use a little more help in making sure that they're able to do their job the way?
Always.
Yeah.
There's always, we're talking about a classroom can range from 20 to 30 some students. That's a lot of little individuals, right? With lots of different personalities. So are we always going to feel like we never have enough? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And we're always going to feel like that. I think here in Massachusetts specifically, some of the funding it's quite different than what I'm used to. And how we receive funds as a public institution it's very different. Okay. So I'll summarize in that in California, schools they have their own funding stream. They receive money from the state, both federal and state funds. You know how much money is coming to you based off of the state budget, right? Mm-hmm. So when it's good times, you got more money. When it's not, less of the kind of grant funding that we do here in Massachusetts. Grant funding is challenging because you don't know if you're going to get that grant again. So sustainability is a challenge. And the way that funding happens here, where it runs through the city, and then you work with the municipality, that is very different. And I'll just leave it at that. It's different. So do I think that our teachers need more support? They always will. They absolutely always will. Do I think that our teachers in Worcester deserve to have, we're in the middle of negotiations, and I won't speak about negotiations. It's not, we're not at the table. No. Yeah. But what I will say is I do believe our educators deserve to be compensated fairly and at very high levels. And my thing is, I'm going to hold you accountable to high levels of excellence for every single child. I need to provide you with the tools and resources to make that happen. Otherwise, I'm setting you up for failure. And whether that's my teachers, my principals, my counselors, all of that. So really long answer to say, yes, I do think we will always need more support for our classroom teachers. what is more important than educating or preparing our future generations?
Absolutely. 100%. And we'll talk more about that later because I really want to get to know a little bit about you. I don't know if people have asked you these questions, more personal questions.
Okay.
I just wanted to give a shout out to the teachers first.
Thank you for doing that, though, because I don't
Absolutely.
want, it's so important that teachers are respected.
Yeah. And I say Worcester schools are a hot mess, but it's not, again, it's not the
It's
teachers.
not the classroom
So
teachers.
I don't want to.
No, it's not the principals either.
Yeah, I don't
No.
want to do that to them. So now that we've crossed that bridge, Worcester, how is it? I mean, you come from LA, beautiful city of sunshine. You know, everybody's beautiful, and Hollywood, you know what I mean? And then you come here. I mean, people are beautiful here too, don't get me wrong. But it's, I mean,
Oh, okay,
it's-
but Manny, that is such a stereotype.
it's winter. I mean, listen, we're a stereotypical society, so I'm just going with it, all right? But here, you know, Worcester, it's all right. You got very lucky. This winter, you got very, but generally, it's cold, it's gray, it's snowy, you know. But how do you feel about the transition from LA to Worcester?
So I do recognize that my husband and I are very lucky, as well as our two little pups, because the weather is really nice right now. I'm managing it very nicely. When I speak to my friends in California, I'll be like, yeah, it's like 30. And they're like, what? You know, because that's just not the way
It's freezing for them, right?
Uh-huh. And had I been home, I would have thought the same thing. I said, no, it's different. I don't know how to explain it, but 30 isn't as scary as it sounds. Yeah. Yes.
And you get to look cute. It's, you know, your little cute winter coat, cute little boots. You know what I mean?
I'm feeling the
this
beanies.
Is fashion cold.
Yes, exactly. Fashion cold. I like that. Yeah. Yes, I'm loving beanies. I've always been like boots and tights, so I'm all over that. Scarves. I'm set. I've got enough boots, the right kind of boots with the right heels, as I have learned.
Yeah,
that's all part of it. So it's okay. It's nice. And the snow, the few snows that we have had, is that a word? Snows. Yeah. Snow days.
I like snows.
Snows.
Yeah.
I just made it. I do that.
I like
make up words.
I do it all the time. Yeah.
Okay, good. See, that's why we
click.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We understand each other. We can complete each other's sentences and everything.
Probably could.
We're
sorry, scary.
But it's beautiful snow.
It is. It's really magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice for like the first day or two, and then after that, I'm like,
you know,
we'll see you next year. Buddy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Snow's like a Thanksgiving relative. Yeah. It's nice to see you once a year because we're family and we love you, but see you again next year.
My God. You know, the one thing though, so you talk about the comparison between LA and here. One thing that has been really hard for me, and I just have to let it go, is in LA, you do keep your cars clean.
Yeah.
Like you keep your car clean, right? Like, and you can't kind of keep your car clean here.
You know why? You go bankrupt.
Yes.
You go wash your car. You
It's-
go drive 5 miles down the street, and it looks like you never washed your car.
So
the salt is terrible.
So getting used to that, I just like released it pretty early on. I was like, oh, okay, this is just let it go.
Right.
So
but you'll see in the summertime, because you haven't been here in the summer yet, right?
Yes, I started in July. So
in
summer,
July, okay.
I noticed, and it was okay. I kind of was like in the groove. I knew what to do. Right. But yes,
people put their nice cars away for the winter, and then bring them out again for the summer. You just see all the, we got to get from point A to point B. We care less how we look.
That's it.
Well, how our car looks.
How the car looks.
We care very much how we look.
Yes. Yeah. It's very different. That part is different. I've had to let that go.
That's not too bad of a, if that's your only problem, we're doing good.
So far.
Yeah.
So far.
So how do you feel about like the differences maybe in your job? Does it feel more heavy here or is it similar to you?
That's a good question. I was speaking maybe with one of the committee members. I don't recall. Just recently. So San Bernardino, where I had come from, served 72 schools, 50,000 students. My last position there was,
That's a lot. I don't know if I want to be around that many kids. That's a lot of kids.
And
I love kids, but...
It is a lot. It is a lot. And we covered a really large footprint of, it's more than, so the way the California sets up their districts, it's not just one city. It could be multiple cities or portions of a city. The boundaries are just different. So we covered a good square footage, I don't even know, hundreds kind of across. And so I'm used to that kind of dynamic when you have 72 schools, 50,000 children, and then so therefore 8,000 employees something's happening every day, and it's multiple things happening every day. So that happens here. And it doesn't kind of shake me because I'm used to it. I've been doing it for 6 years. The big difference is the buck stops with me, right?
Right.
So that's the biggest difference. I was an assistant superintendent in San Bernardino and then the deputy, so 6 years in total. And being the superintendent, it's just a different level of emotional, I guess, just the emotion that I carry, right? There's real highs and there's real lows, and you get all of that, and that stays with me. That's the biggest that I would say.
Yeah, and I'm sure with that comes major need for support. Shout out to Mr. Monarrez, right?
Yes.
Isn't he doctor too?
He is not.
Okay, good. I almost assumed. But shout out to Mr. Monarrez. How has the transition been for him and his support, and how do you feel about your husband?
Oh, well,
if you don't mind me asking.
He's my best friend.
Yeah.
He is my best friend. I love him to death. Some days I apologize to him for making him do this. Yeah. But we're having fun in the transition. So he is reading some things about transition, and he'll tell me, oh, babe, this is just part of the transition. And, on the other side, you come out stronger, and we're going to come out stronger. So it's quite a support. He takes care of me like nobody's business. So like he was up this morning filling the car with gas. And,
wow.
Yeah, that's the kind of husband he is.
That's dope.
I know.
You found a good one.
I found a good one. And he's the chef in the house. And yes.
Okay. Is he Latino?
Is Latino.
That's what I'm saying. That's what we found. Chef it up. Our mama's taught us well. Go ahead.
Yes. We're trying to figure out what Super Bowl. Okay, so here's another thing. So it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, the video. Okay, anyway. I just about lost my mind last night when I realized that when we turn on the Super Bowl here, it's going to be dark outside.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to.
It's a daytime celebration.
I don't know how to explain.
Because you're 3 hours behind.
How much that rocked my world. I really. It's the silliest of things.
But
where you're just
fun. It's nighttime parties. You got permission to drink. Saying it's great. The Super Bowl out here, chicken wings and drinks.
Well, we were talking about, okay, you're gonna make wings. What else? Guacamole, chips and salsa.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm coming to your house for the Super Bowl. So that's amazing. Glad to hear that your husband is supportive, because that's super, super important. Huge. To how you perform, right? So
absolutely,
big shout out and a big thank you to Dr. Monarrez. I'm sorry, you're the doctor, Mr. Monarrez. We appreciate you supporting Rachel here, because then we get the best superintendent we could possibly get, because we get you at 100%.
Yes,
it's amazing. Well, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you.
We're gonna talk more. I got some special friends jumping in that are gonna ask, just join the conversation. Maybe they got some questions to ask. I don't know. But for right now, we're gonna take a quick break. And we will be right back with your boy Manny, Dr. Monarrez, here on Interview.